I truly do believe that we overcomplicate the idea of discovering our purpose so much.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and oftentimes what happens is that we use these mantras like, I'm going to discover my purpose one day. And in some ways, that language feels like it takes the ownership of off of us and it puts it on some outside source, right? Because it's just something
Hmm.
that we're going to discover one day. It's just going to come to us. And I always just pictured, it's going to be written in the sky, or a loud voice will boom and tell me what it is, or it will
That's
be
right.
written in the sand or something. And really what happens then is that what we do is we sit back waiting for this moment when we'll discover our passion. And then when that doesn't happen, it ends up kind of being an excuse that we use for why we're not actually living out the purpose that God has placed in our lives, right? So
That's right.
someone would say, well, are you living your purpose? Well, I don't know. I haven't discovered it yet.
Mm.
However, what we've tried to do at Generation Distinct is, instead of saying we're going to discover it one day, instead we use the language of, we're going to craft our passion. We're going to build it. We're going to
Mm.
construct it, because we already know our macro purpose and we already know a little bit about who we are and how we've been created. We don't have to wait for anything else, because what if, I ask this question often, what if God is like peering over the side of heaven and he's already given us everything we need to say yes to his calling on our life, to step into our purpose? We already have it all, and he's watching, waiting to see what we're going to do with it. And in the meantime, we're just sitting back waiting on some moment that's never actually going to happen,
That's
right?
right.
And
Yeah.
so if anyone's sitting here right now and they're thinking, I just don't know what my purpose is. Okay, yes, I get the whole macro purpose. It's to help people know Jesus, but I don't even know what I'm uniquely good at. Oftentimes, I believe the best next step to discovering our purpose is just to do something.
Something.
Something, right? Because I truly believe we're not going to discover our purpose while we're sitting at home watching Netflix, right?
Hmm.
We're probably not going to discover our purpose when we're, flipping through the sales rack at Target
That's right.
again.
Unfortunately.
I wish. And we're even probably not going to discover our passion when we're hanging out with our friends, complaining about our lack of purpose in our lives, right?
Hmm.
I actually believe that it's in the doing, right?
Hmm.
It's when we're in the midst of real relationships with people. It's when we're in the mess of injustice, when we're close and proximate to people who are different from us. It's when we're outside of what's normal, when we're trying new things, when we're seeing, am I good at this? Do I have a natural tendency towards this? Can I do this? It's when we get out of what's our normal, comfortable routine, and then we experience something, right? So it's when we're volunteering for that nonprofit with special needs kids, and all of a sudden we have this moment, right? Or it's when we all of a sudden start volunteering at the youth ministry at our church, when teenagers have always scared us, and we have this moment, right? Or it's when we all of a sudden start to say, I'm going to just walk down my neighborhood and meet my neighbors, and we have this moment, right? God will usually use the moments in our life to tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, that was it.
Yeah.
Just saw, what you just felt, what you just experienced, that was, and what we call it is the wrong you were born to make right. And
Hmm.
so I just encourage everyone, if you feel stuck in discovering your purpose, but you're doing the same thing every day on repeat, chances are it's going to be really hard to discover what that purpose is. Oftentimes it takes getting out of our normal, out of our routine. Even again, like my big sister is a great example of this. She's we have very different passions and very different lives, but she's a mom of 3 little kids right now, and yet her and her husband, they're on mission for Jesus. She knows her purpose and she is so motivated. She gets together these group of moms in her neighborhood, in her area, and they have
Mm.
these story times, but her goal is to help those moms eventually get to know Jesus and invite them to church, right? And she's discovered that because she just started talking to other moms, and she recognized there was a need for community, and she started
Yeah.
to actually, hey, let's gather. And then she realized I could help them come to church. And then she was at her gym and she realized a lot of these moms go to my gym. And so now she's seeing them there and she's telling them about church and what she did. And it doesn't, we don't figure out our purpose all in one fell swoop. I believe we figure out our purpose as we take the next step, just get a
Yeah.
little bit zone, and we have those moments and God taps on the shoulder and say, hey, you know your macro purpose. Now here's the unique way that you've been equipped and designed to live that out in your context.